Hi guys, and welcome to the vlog where I'm finally gonna be reading the Twisted series because I know it's really popular and beloved on the internet, and I have the week off from college. So what way better to spend it than to spend it with y'all, kind of reading the Twisted series and seeing if the hype is real. So let's just directly get into it, and we'll finally get to see what my opinions are on it because I've been waiting so damn long to do this. So now for context, because I have a whole yapathon to give you, I was going to start recording this video last week, but because of college deadlines and my practical exams and everything else I was stressed and worried about, I didn't really want to be recording during a hectic time because I wouldn't have been able to devote myself fully to it, which is why I figured I'd push it off till this week. However, to start, I did go ahead and start the first book in the series, Twisted Love, on my Kindle, which is charged up and ready last week. So I have gone ahead and started the first book in the series. I started like barely a couple chapters before I realized I want to save it aside for this week or whatever. Ended up recording something else last week, and here we are now. I would have come in earlier in the morning to give you my intro, but at that point I was continuing the book or whatever since I already started it anyway, and coming to realize the fact that I am actually kind of hating it. So I don't know if the series is going to go the same way for me. I will give it another chance with the second book in the series, Twisted Games. If I hate that too, then we're just going to have to end the vlog here because I'm so sorry. Not for me. I don't want to waste my life reading books I don't enjoy. But while we're still on that topic, I ended up deciding that, hey, what if I go download the audiobook of Twisted Love and kind of use that to get me through this book, because I genuinely wasn't having the best time ever. And so I went there to do that, except for some reason there was some sort of like outage happening with the apps, and Amazon specifically wasn't working. So Amazon, Goodreads, Kindle, Audible, none of them were actually working for me, Kindle app specifically, and so maybe it was something on their end. I'm not really sure. It has been resolved at this point, but because at that point specifically I had literally nothing else to do, I am on vacation, keep that in mind, I don't really have to be worrying about deadlines and stuff. I figured, okay fine, that's just my sign to force myself into reading on Kindle. So I did continue the version I have downloaded here. I am nearly done with it at this point. I did also put off the urge to kind of watch my show Gossip Girl instead of reading this, because that would have been a much more enjoyable experience. But here we are regardless. I will probably just go finish this and give you my final thoughts once I'm done, because I don't really have a lot to say apart from the fact that I absolutely hate this. The next book better be worth its tea or whatever, because otherwise people are just lying to me on the internet. What is wrong with this? I don't understand why I'm feeling this way. Have we all read the same book? Because there's so many issues I have with this, and I will get to them soon. It's just, let me finish and let me make sure I completely hate this book before I come shit on it, which is why here we are. I'm just gonna go finish it out and see y'all in a little bit, maybe later tonight once I'm done, and that's it. So I did start the book. I wish the video also started on a more positive note, but it isn't. So here's to crossing my fingers that things go better, because I am a little scared right now. Hi guys, and welcome to catch up time, because I have a couple longest updates to give you on the basis of everything that I've been doing, because I finished one of the books, I started the next book, and there's a lot to speak about. So to catch you up, basically I have gone ahead and finished Twisted Love, the first book in the series. It's a typical brother's best friend romance, and I finished it around like nighttime yesterday. Started the next one after. We'll get to that in a second, but basically the first one in the series, you've probably heard of the plot at this point, but I'm just recapping if you haven't already. It follows Alex and Ava. Alex, he's supposed to be like this honestly horrible, sleazy kind of guy, except he's really good looking and everyone falls for him and whatnot, but he's just supposed to be really bad. He's like a devil, but I think blessed with the face of an angel, something like that. And he's haunted by his past because tragedy strikes when he was younger and his family was killed off. So now the only thing that's fueling him is vengeance, and now he kind of wants to get the family the justice they deserve. Now on the other hand, we have Ava. She's like this free-spirited woman or whatever. There's stuff she's suffering from, again, childhood like traumas and stuff. due to which she can't really remember specific details of her childhood. It's this whole thing that happened in the past. You'll have to read to find out. But she also suffers from like constant nightmares about that one event that happened, and she can't remember things before it. So now she's kind of stuck in that mental cage there, except she still sees the good in people. She still sees the niceties in the world despite being broken by it. And so it's kind of like a situation wherein opposites attract or whatever, because Ava's brother Josh, he's actually leaving on a fellowship, and because they live in like neighboring houses, so she lives in one house and Josh lives right next to her, he kind of convinces and talks Alex, his best friend, into taking over the house for him while he's going on the fellowship, so Alex can kind of look after Ava, make sure she's alright because her ex has been acting weird or whatever. Also so that Josh can keep the house and keep an eye on Ava at the same time, and Alex agrees because they're like best friends or whatever. He ends up starting to do that, except with the close proximity they're starting to fall in love with each other because they're spending more time together. She's trying to see if she can get emotions to arise out of him because he's got this like cold icy mask of a face, and that's where things go off from. For me personally, I feel like everything about the series just feels a little too Wattpaddy perfect, because let me explain to you in a second or whatever, so y'all don't come bouncing at me. The man, he is supposed literally to be perfect. He's got the perfect face, he's got the perfect grumpy cold exterior. He's like this really genius guy with this like crazy IQ and this like condition wherein he remembers exact perfect memory. So instead of like writing a diary, he can just flip through his mind and he knows exact details down to the last bit. And he's also supposed to be like really smart in the sense that he developed some sort of software, sold it early, made money, and now he runs this company or whatever. He's not official CEO, but he's like the de facto, so it just makes sense that it's him. And so already he's very much giving the YN, but like a guy version. And then on the other hand we have Ava. Again, even her friend group is a little too perfect. We have one of the girls, Bridget, the one for the second book or whatever. She is a little princess. We have Jules, who is a little hot-headed, I'll be so for real. She's giving Donna from Suits if you watch the show. Then we have Stella, who's like this influencer online, and so everyone is something. They're all like picture perfect or whatever, except Ava. Ava's just Ava. I don't understand why she's in that group because she's literally nothing. So sorry, but basically that's where we're at right now. The only personality she has which actually stands out in her group is being cardboard and being able to bend over backwards whenever Alex asks something of her, whatever. So she's like his own personal dog and one that lacks a spine. So here we are. That's basically what I think right now, at least. I'm happy I'm done with the book because it definitely played into stereotypes and it wasn't the best time ever, as I just explained to you, but I think it was like still a good introduction to the series, and I'm just happy it got over because from the very beginning it's very insta-lovey. It's just dragged out. I feel the same about the second book at the moment. It's just the second one is a lot better than the hot mess the first one was. So here we are. I did go ahead and finish it. I gave it 2 stars upon finishing. It would have been alright, but towards the end, I don't want to spoil it for you, but the man starts singing. That came out of nowhere. So there's a lot of shit going around basically, but here we are. Didn't have the best time. Even the last page of Twisted, the first book, he's actually thinking about a way to kind of blackmail her friend the princess because he kind of figures something out on her, and that's just so funny to me because he won't blackmail her but he's just thinking about it anyway, and that's one of her friends. She's in time of crisis or whatever and he's thinking about blackmailing her. He's messed up. I'm sorry, there's so many horrible things about this book, walking red flags to be honest, that you can spot from a mile away if you read it. I don't understand how people online love it because truly it was horrendous. There's so many other things I can probably discuss, but I don't want to spoil it for you. It just, keep in mind, it gets very Wattpaddy and Mafia coded, and I didn't expect to see that coming, but here we are. Definitely got 2016 vibes from it or whatever, but that's it. I'm happy I'm done with it regardless. Definitely felt like something I'd sit up late on the night reading on the phone and wondering why the heck I'm reading, because it wasn't giving me great vibes. But yeah, I'm done with it now and I can't wait to continue, I guess, the rest of the ones in the series or whatever, because the rest of the group is very interesting. It's just these two for some reason such a miss for me, but here we are. Basically, I finished this book. One last thing I want to point out before I move on from it is the fact that he wouldn't stop yapping about the fact indirectly how smart he is or whatever, always bringing up his IQ in some sort of conversation, calling himself a genius all the time, that hey, I'm literally perfect, I've got the best memory. And not just that, he's got so much ego and arrogance wherein every time someone wrongs him in the smallest of ways or whatever, he's just plotting their downfall. He's like, I've got all the secrets on this person, I can finish them, I can destroy them. Guy, please shut up. That's so cringe. I'm sorry, I got secondhand embarrassment from reading it because there's like actual moments wherein the people, they didn't even do horrible shit or whatever. she's living her life, he's just meddling, and he just decides that, hey, let me just wipe this person's existence whatsoever because I've got like controls in my hand. And it just doesn't even give those vibes. It's just very much giving a Disney evil villain, because he's just, I don't know, there's something wrong with him. I can't point my finger on it, but every time something happened, it was always him complaining and being like, I'm gonna finish this person because I know all their deep dark secrets. And like, I don't know, that just got to head at some point because it was so repetitive and I was so done with that shit. But basically, I'm happy to be done with this book regardless. Now, moving on, I have gone ahead and downloaded the second one, Twisted Games, and I'm gonna be so genuine with y'all. Once I finished the previous book, I figured, okay, I'll read this till like a little bit or whatever. So it was 1 in the morning yesterday once I finished that one, and I was just like, I'll read a couple chapters and then I'll probably just go to bed afterward, because I do that every day on Kindle at this point. And started it, I was up till nearly 5 and I read halfway of the book. Not good for my sleep schedule. And then today, all day long, I've been busy running errands or whatever. Tomorrow is again gonna be another hectic day, so I don't know how much reading I'm getting in, which is why I'm back again right now at night time to catch up. I am halfway through, so we'll have to just continue seeing where it goes. But this, so far, it's definitely giving insta-lovey vibes, but also a very weird, slow burn, dragged out insta-love, because they like each other from the very first page, but they aren't acting on it, and it's executed better than the first one. I'm just at least gonna give it that. So I'm having a weirdly okay time, because I truly thought I'd hate it, but it isn't that bad. I'll be so for real or whatever. And listen, it has to be somewhat good if I was captivated enough to kind of continue reading all the way from 1 till 5 in the morning and finish halfway. So I'm just gonna go continue, see how much of it I can get done by the time I come into update tomorrow. But yeah, this is where I'm at right now. So far, again, it's alright. It's nothing great. It's very much giving me like a popcorn book. It's kind of like when I read Frida McFadden's books. Hers aren't necessarily great, but they just go by really fast and I enjoy reading them, even though it's like only for the entertainment value, which is basically what I'm feeling with this one right now. But it definitely has some good moments, and I can't wait to read the next 2 books in the series, because I know they're gonna eat the kind of glimpses we're getting into the world and the characters and stuff. So I will see, but basically right now this is good. It's kind of swoony and funny at some bits, that it's not falling short or whatever, and hopefully it'll continue going that way and it won't go in the direction of the first book, because that was horrendous. And if honestly I ever get kidnapped, the way I should be tortured is to be made to reread the first book in the series, because it was horrible. That's just my idea of the worst kind of punishment ever, and truly no one should actually be forced to go through shit like that. But here we are. I'm gonna go finish this one out now, and I'll see y'all maybe once I'm done with all the work and we can actually lock in and continue with more frequent updates on the rest of the series, because I know it's gonna get better. I'm just crossing my fingers and praying I get to that good bit, because right now it just feels like a bunch of fluff. Hi guys, so as predicted, it has been a very busy and hectic past couple of days, but I did go ahead and finish the book, and now onwards you can expect more frequent updates from me, because basically the rest of my week is cleared out, and that means I can just sit down, curl up and read as much as I want to. So I'm gonna lock in now with the rest of the series, but until then I have gone ahead and finished Twisted Games, the second book, so I'm here to kind of speak about that, and then we'll start the third one. Basically, this is like your typical princess and bodyguard romance. I honestly, going into the series like completely blind, only knew that it was supposed to be with this guy called Reese, because Reese here and Reese Hand in Akatar. I'm sorry, I'm just convinced Reese is like a really good name for a guy or whatever, because they always slay. And so going into the series, I just knew that, hey, I will probably love the second and the fourth book the most or whatever from what I've heard. And unfortunately, I was a bit disappointed, because I do remember my last update to you being a really good one, in the sense that, oh, I was nearly done with the book. I was halfway through in like one night, and then the next day I stayed up and I finished it. And so I literally finished the book in record time, because it was so long, but I finished it in 2 days, despite the fact that it was all hectic and everything. But I do have a couple of gripes to give you, despite the fact that I finished so fast. So for a quick premise, basically it's like a romance between a princess and a bodyguard. The bodyguard is called Reese, like I just told you, and he has 2 rules when it comes to protecting his clients or whatever. Number 1, protect them at all costs, and number 2, don't get emotionally involved, because it kind of compromises your decision making, and at that point then you're not able to fulfill goal number 1, which is to protect them at all costs. So basically that's his life, except now enter Bridget, who is his newest like client or whatever. He's a contractor, so he's now made to protect her, except as he's going along with it right now, he starts to realize that she's got the same fire that he has in him, and he is an ex-Navy SEAL, so he's gone through a lot of trauma and shit in his life, and he's finally met someone who's like it or whatever, and suddenly she's pulling his defenses down day by day, is very grumpy sunshine or whatever, and he's starting to fall for her or whatever, but he can't because that compromises his whole rule system and whatever. On the other hand, now we have Bridget. It's been a couple years or so since he's become her bodyguard, and she is a princess for this like small kingdom or whatever, but she isn't crown princess, so it doesn't really matter what she does, except one day her brother abdicates, and so now she has become crown princess. Her coronation is in a few months, which means she's going to be trapped in a loveless, politically, I guess, based marriage, because in her kingdom she needs to marry someone of royal blood, no exceptions, and because she's going to get her throne in a few months now, she has to marry no matter what before she gets the throne, because it's all married people on the throne or whatever. And now she's suddenly realizing that she can't choose between her bodyguard and the kingdom, because there's no choice to be made, it has to be the kingdom. So as she's going along with all these dates with all these royal men, she's starting to realize that her heart still just belongs to the one man who cannot have it, Reese the bodyguard, because he is not of royal birth and they cannot technically marry according to royal decree. And so that's the whole storyline. If you care, because I definitely do, and I did ask one of my friends who had read this series before if they do end up together, because I don't want to read something wherein they don't have a happy ending. Yes, they do get a happy ending, but to get there, that's the whole premise of the book or whatever, and it's supposed to be slow burn, but it's written in this really weird sense wherein they know each other from the beginning, and it's all very physical or whatever, and then it's just dragged out in the sense that they don't get together until a little bit, but it's physical from the first page because it's instant love anyway. And I don't know if I'm making sense. Basically, the whole series, from what I'm starting to observe right now, is these characters, and you watch them fall in love, nothing wrong with that or whatever, except their love is the kind of physical Wattpaddy love. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but for me personally, I enjoy the more you're slowly starting to fall for someone who starts to connect with you and understand you emotionally, and I just feel like these books lack that, because the first 50% of this was done really well. I had such a good time, I sped through it, but then when I read the next half, I wish I was joking with the turn the romance took. I feel a little traumatized from having read it in the first place. I only continued for the dramatics and the politics of the world or whatever, and how they're going to try to get him to be her significant other or whatever, despite the fact that it's not allowed. And so that was truly what held my attention. In the second half of the book, I feel like the romance just went from all the way up here degrading all the way down, because truly, I don't know how to express it to you. It's just the first half was done so good, or maybe that was my 2 a.m. brain, but then the second half, when I got to it, it just got so physical. It is physical right off the bat, don't get me wrong, but the way the turn the things took or whatever, suddenly he was just being this like over possessive weirdo, and the kind of things he said, if a man says that in real life, please run away 10 miles in the opposite direction. That is a red flag, and I don't understand how people online don't see it, because everyone's obsessed with him. So not trying to shit on something people love, but listen, I finished it regardless. I had a surprisingly okay-ish time, because I thought I would have liked it better. Turns out that's not the case. I have been disappointed by my slump again, but it was good because the politics definitely kept me entertained for the second half, and I just kept going because of that. But I still feel like this book was definitely longer than it should have been, because the whole romance, it's not a slow burn. They love each other from page 1 anyway. It's just pushed off, and that could have been cut short because not a lot was happening anyway. So I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. It was alright. Moving on to the next book. I just started it because I just had the time, and I've gotten only to 10%, so I can't tell you what it's about yet, because this book is like 500 pages long. Each book in the series just keeps getting longer, so I'm gonna go get to it. But as far as I've heard, this is supposed to be a crowd pleaser, and from what I'm reading right now, I'm having a surprisingly good time, because for some reason, or maybe it's just because I've been watching a lot of Gossip Girl lately, the relationship in this book, Josh and Jules, so Josh is the brother of the first girl from the first book, and Jules is the best friend of the friend group. For some reason, they're really giving me Chuck and Blair from Gossip Girl. Maybe it's just because I've been watching that, I don't know, but I'm loving that dynamic right now. So hopefully it continues the same way, and it doesn't go downhill for me like the first couple books did, because the start is really strong. It's just the way it heads off. Not a fan. However, I have been seeing a couple glimpses of the next guy from the next book, which is also the last book, Christian. Can't wait to read it, because honestly, I don't know why I'm getting butterflies every time he shows up. So maybe that will be the saving grace of the series for me, because I knew I'd like that book from the premise. I've heard of it from the very beginning, but now actually starting to see cameo appearances, I'm sorry, I think he might actually eat and slay. So we shall see where it goes. Right now I'm loving the whole enemies to lovers, hate to love kind of situation they've got going, the bickering and the banter, so maybe that'll continue. And so far, maybe the series might just get better, who knows, but I can't wait to be done with this so I can start that one, because I'm truly just looking forward to that more than anything. So I'm gonna go get back to my read, probably go grab some dinner right now, and I'll catch up with you all in a little bit. But that's it for my update. See you guys maybe after dinner once I have some more progress on my book. But yeah, I'm locking in now for tonight. Maybe we'll just get done with it by tomorrow morning, who knows, but I have my hopes high up, so let's see where this goes. See you guys in a bit. Bye. Also, I didn't address the elephant in the room, but I got my fairy lights up and they look so cute. I honestly live for this time of year when I can actually have them back on my windows again and not look weird about it, because no one does that during the summer. I don't want to be the exceptional case. But now that it's up, I'm so obsessed. Time to actually get cozy, curl up with all the lights out, only this on, and my Kindle running in the background, and me just having the time of my life, curled up under my blanket, candle running in the background, my hot drink in my hand, and my book ready to go, because that is peak fall for me, and truly, I'm so excited. Okay guys, so update on the reading situation, because now I'm 40% of the way through the book and I promised frequent updates, so I'm trying to keep up with that promise. I basically continued reading and I should have just called my instincts and just probably not just recorded the entire vlog itself, not have read any of the books, because so far I hate this one and I'm wondering why the heck I'm reading the series in the first place. I know the fourth one's gonna be so good from the few crumbs of it getting, which is why I'm just continuing, because I don't want to miss out on anything and then have that ruin my experience of the fourth one or whatever, because I definitely want to read that. I'm loving the little bits we're getting off it, but otherwise I feel like the build up all the way to the fourth one isn't really worth it, because now that I'm reading the third, you should have guessed it, I absolutely hate it. For premise, it basically follows the first girl, Ava, her brother, so that's Josh, and one of the best friends in the friend group, because it's like a group of 4. She's Jules, the lawyer. Everyone calls her, or at least he refers to her as Jessica Rabbit, because that's basically who her character is or whatever. He is focused very much on becoming the new hotshot doctor. She wants to pass the bar exam, but she used to be a party girl, so now she's dedicating herself fully into all her attempts of being a lawyer, because she's left her past life behind and everything else that came with it. And she wants to finally succeed in life, do one thing right. Except she's like a thorn in his side. He absolutely hates her. She finds him her own personal idea of hell, despite the fact that he is her best friend's brother or whatever. And in the midst of everything, their animosity gets to a head, to the point where one day they have this unforgettable night, and suddenly from there things go onward or whatever. So he ends up going up to her and proposing this no strings enemies with benefits kind of situation. She agrees, and so their chemistry is definitely there, physical chemistry, except it goes beyond that, because suddenly they're starting to find themselves emotionally connecting and breaking that pact they'd made, wherein now they're getting jealous over each other, they're starting to fall in love with each other. They don't really see any path moving forward, because they're convinced that the other one hates them, but at the same time the way they are starting to feel is definitely changing, and now they don't understand how it's happened, but they're falling for each other, and there's not a lot they can do about it. So that's the concept of the book, and I will say it's a strong one, but the execution, I don't know why these books, they start off so good and then they just go downhill to the point where I'm truly wondering why the heck I'm reading it. And listen, my gut was right. I probably wouldn't like this. I wouldn't like the series. I just knew it. And here we are. I'm reading regardless. I don't know why I'm doing it, because this is my own personal idea of torture and hell. But I'm still gonna keep going. White knuckle grip, holding so strong onto something I don't want to do. Little tears of blood leaking down my face, because what else am I supposed to say? I feel like this book has such strong caveman energy. I feel like the entire series so far, the first book had it, the second one increased tenfold, now increased 1,000-fold or whatever, because if that's something you like, it's definitely something you'll enjoy. But the way it's coming across, he is so strong and intense for all the wrong and bad reasons, and it's definitely giving me red flags. So here we are. Run away if you see this man in real life, because what else am I supposed to say? Okay, walking red flag incoming. I hate it so much, and this is like my own idea of hell. So please just off me so I can stop reading this book, because I have to continue so I can get to the fourth one. But the way I'm continuing right now, I'm hating every second. And the problem is, today is a Friday. I definitely need to finish this off and then start the next one, because I would like to finish this vlog recording for it on Sunday, because I have like a different vlog I need to be worrying about for next week or whatever. And I don't want this to continue on into the new week, where now then I can't record the other vlog that now I'm desperately looking forward to. And so here we are. Definitely need to wind this up really quick, so I'm gonna go probably just get this as an audiobook and listen to it, because I have no other option. Recently I found out that now that I started the reading of it this week, I feel like I Believe Twisted, the first one, was it called Love? I'm so confused. They're releasing like new audiobooks of it, but like duet versions, so like both the narrators. And that's so funny to me that it started only the week I'm reading, and I don't think it's out yet in the rest of the books or whatever. They're coming out every couple of weeks, so I'm not gonna wait. I'm just gonna find the only audiobook that there is, single narrator. I don't care, and whatever, just pick it up, continue with it, because otherwise I don't see myself getting through this by tonight or whatever, because it's truly horrendous. The way he talks, the way he behaves, he's so aggressive, and personally, that's just not my thing. I want to return to my cozy, cute romances, the wholesome ones, and be happy about it, because the way I'm truly getting mentally disturbed reading this. How do people like this series? Are we reading the same thing? Because this just feels sick to me. I'm so sorry, but here we are. Do not come after me for my personal opinions. Take it with a grain of salt, anything I say, because I usually have negative things to say about literally everything I read. So here we are. Regardless, I'm gonna go continue reading now and hopefully be done by tonight, because I hate it right now and I just don't know what else to say. But I am praying that the fourth one gets better, because the few crumbs we're getting of Christian Harper, eating them up. So we'll just have to see where the book takes me. But yeah, here we are. See y'all in a bit, and bye. That's it. I've been yapping for quite a bit now. My apologies if I came off mean in the previous clip, or like just uninterested, because that's literally my only state of mind right now. The new 5-sauce single popped, and listen, that's the only thing I can think about. I cannot be bothered about anything else, which is why here we are. I'm coming in to update that I forgot to mention one thing about plot. There's some stuff Jules, the girl, did in the past or whatever that is now starting to catch up with her. And you know, her demons, she's now starting to face them. So you're truly trying to wonder if the two of them can survive every single hurdle that is put through. Because the shit she's gone through in the past, it isn't like normal stuff. It's definitely concerning and disturbing and traumatizing, and now that it's coming back to rehash itself in the form of, I guess you can almost call it extortion and threatening. I don't really know what she's gonna do about it. I'll continue reading, but yeah, that's definitely something that's going on right now. Someone knows something about her past that's come back up, and you're trying to wonder and see where that goes. But I feel like it's very interesting, because these romances just aren't normal romances. In the last couple ones I've read as well, there's always something else to the plot that adds to it. So they're just not normal people. Every single thing about them, there is something always going on. In terms of plot, it goes very much into 2016 Wattpad, but at the same time, hopefully this one will be the saving grace of this book, because otherwise I have nothing that's keeping me entertained right now, and maybe the dramatics will save me. But regardless, here we are. It's definitely something I have noticed with the other books though as well, because I feel like it's not just romance, there's always something added to the plot. And I feel like if the author just focused on the romance, she definitely could have made it good. But by adding in the other plot and worrying about that too, the two of them in the mix together, it just doesn't go. So here we are. I'm gonna continue listening, reading, doing whatever I'm doing, and be done with it hopefully soon. Okay guys, so it's now the next night, because it's again later in the day that I'm updating, and I have gone ahead and finished the book. So I'm here to give you some final thoughts, because I know I said I was gonna get the audiobook. I ended up just continuing on Kindle, because the thing with this series is, at the time of me reading it, I don't even know why, but I looked it up and it's actually a thing. Something called AWS is down, which is Amazon's like web servers and stuff. So anytime you go onto their website or whatever, random hours, especially when I'm choosing to log in for the series, so I'm choosing to think of it as divine intervention. I'm just not able to get the audiobooks for some reason. I would have purchased it, but at that point I was halfway through anyway, and because the system was down, I just figured might as well continue reading on Kindle. And by the time the system got back up again, keep in mind I've already spent my monthly credit on Audible, so I couldn't like go and buy another one. I just have to buy the book separately from Audible, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I was nearly done on Kindle anyway, so I figured might as well complete it out, because I stayed up to like, I think like 5ish in the morning again yesterday. I did not finish it, unfortunately. I had to sit up again earlier this morning when I woke up, and then I finished. But regardless, I definitely got through a decent chunk yesterday, and that was crucial in my finishing off it. And now I've gone ahead and started the last book in the series. I don't know when I'm finishing, because they just keep getting bigger and bigger and chunkier and more full of fluff, I guess. And that's the wrong word in terms of comparing it to when you understand the plot lines of the series, but yeah, they just keep getting worse and worse and bigger, and I definitely do need to finish reading for this vlog by tomorrow, Sunday, so I can start the new vlog from Monday or whatever, but we'll figure that out later. Basically, I ended up continuing reading this one, and I'm done with it at this point. I finished earlier in the morning, and then I started the next and the last one in the series, so I'm here to kind of update you on this one finally. I'm giving it 2.5 stars, and to kind of explain my ranking system to you, I give 2 stars. That's my lowest rating on books, because I definitely don't want to give it 1 star because authors put work into their work or whatever. So I didn't give it 1 star, but it definitely was 1 star material. And then 2 was only because it was my basic baseline rating, and 0.5 because of the whole dramatics, in the sense that, like I said, the plotline always has some sort of drama edge going or whatever, and the one in this, for some reason, tell me why, I related it to the heist that just happened at the Louvre this week. It's so crazy that I'm reading this book and the same thing happened earlier in the week, at the beginning of the week or whatever, except this one was with lesser fanfare, and so here we are. I don't know, that was just funny to me. It just came across and I wanted to mention, but that was the only thing that truly kept me going, because otherwise the couple, they're intense and toxic. The guy is just a walking red flag in the worst way possible. It's truly horrendous, this book, and so nothing had me going, I'll be so for real. The only thing that actually had me entertained was that situation with the painting and whatnot. So that's where we are right now. I'm happy just to have finished or whatever, and now I've moved on to the last and final book in the series, finally, and I will report right now. I'm at like the 30% mark. I'm definitely going to keep continue reading tonight, but I don't know how much I'll get in because I need to edit tomorrow's vlog as well. But I did continue, and I'm just going to say this isn't as bad as the first and the third books in the series. I definitely was convinced that this might be my favorite, but right now it just feels like a very basic, very mid book where the guy just got obsessed from page 1 and does not understand boundaries. So again, he's not coming across as a red flag yet, but at the same time he's again intense in a bad way, and I'm assuming it's going to come in soon. So maybe the series wasn't for me, or maybe I'm just going to have to live with the fact that the Twisted series is not what I imagined it to be. It is not what the internet hyped it up to be, and I'm a little disappointed that this is the internet's beloved, because yeah, I don't see the hype. I'll be so for real, I just do not see the hype. This again is giving 2016 Mafia Wattpad, and I hate it. I've read much better books than this, so here we are. Maybe the series just wasn't for me, and maybe that's the experiment we learned from this week's vlog. Truly nothing has me going at this point. I truly thought this book would be the one that changed the trajectory of this video, but it's not. So I'm just hoping and waiting for next week's vlog, whatever I end up recording, and praying that that will have a better set of books than this one does, because truly I can't do it anymore. I hate this so much, and it's pushing me back into my reading slump, and there's so many things that are rubbing me wrong because of these books or whatever, and here we are. One thing I definitely do want to say is that the guy Alex from the first book, why is he so much better in everyone else's book than in his own? Because in these other books he's doing all these like grand gestures and amazing sweet things, and he's showing emotion, and in some bits he is a sociopath, but like his friendship with Josh and everything else, that's showing him rounded out as a character, and I actually enjoyed that. But in his own book he was absolute garbage. I think I did fully compare him to a sewer rat at some point on Goodreads. And then not just that, these books also have this like weird flashback memory thing wherein they remember random scenes and it feels like a soap opera. So that's also going on in all of these books, but that's where we're at right now. This one has like a stalker situation going on, so hopefully that storyline will pick up, because I'm definitely interested in the dramatics and not the romance. I mean, I was looking forward to the romance, but at the same time it's very much just blossomed into, oh my god, I'm obsessed with her from page 1, and there was like no basis for it. They have no chemistry whatsoever. You just know that he's pining after her and he's obsessed, but like give me some basis. Where did that come from? But here we are. I'm gonna go keep reading and hopefully be done with this very soon, because this, I think, will be my final update to you before I go finish, and pray that it gets better, because otherwise I think I just feel like I wasted my entire week reading a series I truly hate, hoping that the last one would, help me pick things up, make it better, but apparently not. Apparently my castle has to come crashing down because it's horrible. So here we are. I'm gonna go continue reading now, and that's where we're at right now. So that's my update. Hopefully it gets better, but I'll see you guys in a bit, and that's it. That's enough for my yapping. It's just a mid book at this point. The series is rounding out to be horrible, and what did we expect? But that's it. See you all in a bit. Bye. And one last thing I forgot to say, in the previous book, the way he uses her and then tosses her aside or whatever, especially after the third act conflict that comes in the form of the dramatics of the book. So like, we have romance plotline and we have something else happening apart from that, and that something else that feels like the Louvre heist situation, when that interferes with the romance and acts as third act conflict. The things this man did, if a man like that existed in real life and did that to an actual woman, I'm so sorry. I would actually just want to go in the book and off him. I'm not a violent person, but at those moments when I was reading specifically, Jules could do so much better. But at the same point, I feel like everyone's characters just get watered down in their own books to the point where I could not recognize her anymore. She wasn't the smart, funny, sassy girl. She was just like bending over backwards, just like Ava, for this cardboard man who is honestly trash. But yeah, here we are. Another day, another horrible book. Do things get better? Because I hate this and my slump may be returning, and I hate that too. So I'm just gonna go continue hating on this one, and yeah, bye. Okay, and for the final update of this extremely horrible favorite video, I have gone ahead and finished the last book in the series, and I'm so grateful to have done that, because right after, in the vlog I was recording for this week, since it has been like a couple weeks since my last update to you, I read so many other books. I found a 5-star. So maybe this series was just like my obstacle standing in the way of getting to actual books I enjoy. But yeah, I finished the last book in the series. I'm happy to have done so now, and I'm only coming in to update because it almost feels like there's a gun held to my head because I need to post the vlog. Otherwise, I wish I was joking. I would have probably just ended up scrapping this video because of how bad it's turned out. Every time I go look back on the clips, it's just me hating on the series, and I cannot fix it because I didn't enjoy it. So to continue that same rant one last time, I have gone ahead and finished, I think it was called Twisted Lies. I don't know, I'm confused. The names and the covers are so similar apart from the colors or whatever, and so it's like messing with my brain because each feels like a copy-paste version of the previous one, except it's longer and worse. So here we are to update you basically on this book. Finished it, and I've never been happier to finish a book before, finish a series before, because I think by far in my experience this might be the worst series I've read. Essentially, this book follows Christian Harper. He's like a businessman and he's always dressed in the finest of suits, except that's to kind of hide his interior or whatever, because he's considered like a monster and he's not the best person in terms of morals and anything. So he really enjoys like playing puzzles and stuff, playing games. He's like a mastermind. If you've heard Taylor Swift Mastermind or whatever, that's literally him, except the one puzzle he cannot figure out is the woman living one floor under his penthouse, which is Stella. Now Stella, she's like a social media Instagram influencer. I don't know, I'm getting so confused right now, but essentially you would think that with that sort of job she'd be the most extroverted, life of the party sort of person. No, she's an introvert, loves being at home, shy, sweet, doesn't really like interacting with a lot of people. And so it's very weird that she has that profession in the first place, but she juggles it with her other real-time job as like a fashion magazine helper or something like that. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to explain it, but I can't at the same time. There's this fashion company and she works for them essentially. Her job varies back and forth until she's fired and then gets other jobs and stuff. But essentially, in the midst of everything else, she's living her life as regular. She's struggling to pay her bills, passing just through, but she's okay with it. She's so close to hitting 1 million followers, but it's just not happening. So she decides to hatch a scheme wherein she's gonna try fake dating a man, except she's gonna post about that man on her Insta and make it look real. So like a PR relationship to kind of hit that 1 million mark, because she feels like a lot of job opportunities could open up once she does so. Except posting with her fake boyfriend or whatever, who is Christian Harper, they strike a deal. Something happens from her past and suddenly she had a stalker back in the day. They arise because of the jealousy they have towards her new partner, and so even though her thing with Christian is fake, her stalker is back in the picture and suddenly she's more terrified than ever. thanks to her introverted nature. And so she does the one thing she probably shouldn't have. She runs into the arms of Christian Harper, kind of makes a deal with him where he's going to protect her and then she's just going to live with him and stuff, except they start falling for each other and then there's romance involved and you're trying to figure out who the stalker is and there's a lot of back and forth, and essentially that's the story. I'm just going to say it. This book was probably the most moderately normal book in comparison to all the rest of the books in the series. I feel like all the men in the series are described to be like morally darker, morally black, but at the same time, their morally grey decisions only come in the romance, I feel. Otherwise, they're just normal men who are a little messed up in the psyche that could probably use a little bit of therapy and help. But I feel like in this book specifically, Christian was the most normal man in the entire series. And while it wasn't such like a horrible book per se, it was mid to me. I feel like the entire series as a whole flopped for me because reading it, I genuinely felt nothing. Right from the very beginning, I was so excited to read it from the crumbs we had gotten, but maybe it was all the crumbs we needed because after we started getting the full guy and reading all about him, I don't know how he was attracted to her from the first place. It was explained towards the end, but I'm just trying to figure out how the chemistry comes from there regardless, because he's been attracted to her for like over 5 years at that point. And like, I get it, but at the same time, I don't, because there's no slow burn, even though it was dragged out. From the very beginning, they both love each other. And one last thing, if you were to take a shot every single time his eyes were described as whiskey eyes, you would die of alcohol poisoning. One day, if I ever have no other book left on my TBR, and if that's the only book remaining in the entire world, I'll go back and reread it just so I can count how many times his eyes are described to be whiskey eyes, because that traumatized the shit out of me. Every time it came up, I wanted to die. I wish I was joking, but as I was reading these books sitting on my Kindle on the couch, I was making it everyone's problem, telling everyone in the household that, oh my god, this just happened in the book and this just happened in the book. And genuinely, I don't think I've been more disgusted by a series, because either it was normal or like a little underwhelming, or it just went extremely through the roof and you're just wondering what batshit craziness is going to come out next. And I feel like personally, these books, in my opinion at least, could have been a lot better if there was more focus on the romance than adding a whole plot line of mysterious dramatics to it. Because here you have it of the stalker, and while that was interesting, again it fell flat for me because I feel like the author doesn't strike a very good balance between the two. So if there was only focus on romance, it would have been a lot better. I feel like they could have definitely worked on the chemistry. I just saw none of it. I saw two people physically attracted to each other, and then they finally act on it maybe at the 70% mark, and like, I don't care, because you've still just been thinking about it all this time and there was no basis for it, and where's the emotional connection? They're probably gonna break up after the book is over. And at the same time, when the stalker bit is revealed and you find out who it is, genuinely, I took like 2 seconds. I was literally just blinking and wondering, who the heck is this person and when was this person mentioned? I'm not trying to ruin it for you, so I'm not going to say it, but genuinely it took me 5 whole minutes to figure out who that person was in the first place. It was so obscure, there were no details coming after it. So I feel like both fronts, the book failed. The mystery just didn't live up because I feel like there weren't enough clues, and when it actually got revealed, I was not shocked whatsoever. The romance, yeah, we all know what I think about that. And so I'm just gonna say this wasn't much of a disappointment because I still feel like he was normal in comparison to the other guys, but then also definitely red flags coming in, and there were a few heartwarming moments in the midst of everything else. So don't come after me. At the very end, there was like this entire scene with all the 4 couples from the books lining up together, and I thought that was sweet, but otherwise it was just like a mid book in comparison to all the rest of the series. And I feel like I'm gonna give it like 3.5 stars, and we can just end the vlog here, because what was this series? I'm still trying to wonder if it was just like a fever dream or what the hell is actually going on. This entire series is what I imagine being on drugs feels like, because it just like flew by, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened in the first place and if I really enjoyed it or not. I don't think I did, because it was just weird in every sense. And listen, I'm so done with it. One thing I do want to mention that really pissed me off is I feel like the friend group, the 4 girls or whatever, they were involved in the plot line only when it had to further the plot. Otherwise, you don't see the girls hanging out with their friends or whatever. They're always just so invested in the man. And if you're trying to show the entire life or whatever without any semblance of where the story is actually going, I feel like you could have definitely had more scenes with the friends or whatever, the girl group. No, you just had like 2 scenes in the entire series where they were all like hanging out together, or they were reminiscing about past times, but you don't actually see what that's supposed to mean. You don't actually see how they were friends in the first place. It just feels very superficial, and it feels like they came in only when the story was lagging and you needed more scenes with them. So again, feels very odd to me, but here we are. If I were to rank this series, I feel like in terms of romance, I still feel like the last book, despite all my qualms, might have been the best one. And then after that we have Twisted Games, the second one, the Bodyguard one, and then right after that, in terms of romance only, Twisted Love the first one and then Twisted Hate at the very bottom, because the way that guy Josh exploited Jules at one point, I don't stand for that shit. But in terms of dramatics, in case of the storyline that was the most interesting to me, in terms of plot only, subtract the romance, I'm actually gonna have to say that Twisted Hate was probably my favorite in terms of that only. If you remove Josh from the book, it definitely would have been my favorite. If Jules got her sass back, yup. Because I feel like the whole thing with the painting, very interesting. The rest of them, they were alright, I'm just gonna say that. But the painting and then it coinciding with the Louvre thing that happened last week, a couple of weeks ago, I don't know, that was just weird to me, and that was the most interesting part. But yeah, here we are, we've now reached the end of the vlog. So happy just to be done with these books, and I think I may have said it, or if I didn't, I'm giving the last book in the series 3.5 stars. Definitely feel like some plot lines could have just been done with such a better job, but then here we are regardless. Oh, and you know how I said he was the most morally decent guy still out of the rest of him? He still messed up really bad at one point. Stella, keep in mind, she has a stalker. She is the sort of person who gets freaked out by that shit. And as someone who can personally relate to that, the man, the stuff he's done in this book, again, inexcusable, but here we are. It was still the best of the rest of the series, and that's how you have to realize that the bar was really low to begin with. But I've reached the end of the vlog now, finished all these books. Thankfully, I don't have to look back at any point. But yeah, it was just like an okay series. I honestly don't see the hype, so don't come after me because these are my own personal opinions. But yeah, if this was your favorite series ever, you should have probably skipped this vlog, because this is not gonna be a vlog wherein you see me convert and actually worship this series like the rest of the internet does. But regardless, take everything I said in this video anyway with a grain of salt, because I'm very cynical about my reviews anyway. And so what did we really expect? Now I have gone back to my cheesy cozy romances and I feel so much better. So maybe this wasn't meant for me in the first place, and here we are regardless. But now we've reached the end of the vlog. Sorry for this long yapping update. It just took me so long to get done with the series that now I have to make it like everyone's problem. And so I'm just gonna go. That's it. We've reached the end of the video. No one really cares. So I'm ending it here by saying, if you want me to read specific series again that are beloved by the internet, definitely leave them in the comments. I'd love to get to them. But this one specifically, I'm happy just to never have to look back on it again, and I'm happy to have finished in the first place. Okay, so it's as I'm editing that I realize I forgot to mention this, but I'm not trying to offend anyone with my specific set of opinions. Obviously, this series is very well loved all across the internet or whatever. There's people who read this and then got into reading thanks to that. My best friend loves this series, and so I don't want to discredit from any of that. It's just everyone has different reading tastes. That's the beauty of reading, which is why me as a cynic, this wasn't for me, because personally I have been reading since I was literally able to read. So it's not often that I find books that impress me, which is why I always speak negatively, I feel like, in my reviews about these books, which is why I'm so sorry if you don't really agree with my opinions. But keep in mind, they are my opinions at the end of the day, and take it with a grain of salt. It's not a big deal. This is all just for fun. But that being said, I also do think these books feel like wannabe dark Wattpad romances, and I've read better books on Wattpad than I read this. So if y'all want Rex, definitely comment. But now I'm straying away from the point. I basically just wanted to say these weren't for me, and that is okay. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, that's it. Now back to the video. Sorry for the interruption. So if you guys had a fun time coming along with me in this whole journey, like, comment, share, subscribe. YouTube things, you know how to do them. We went through a whole bucket load of emotions, but regardless, there's no one I'd rather do this with than y'all. So that's it. See y'all in next week's video, which is gonna be so much better because I found a new 5-star book, and you can look forward to that because it's so good, and I can't wait to yap about that with y'all. Regardless, we've now reached the end of the vlog. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, take care, stay safe. See you very soon. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and bye.